Hello everybody and welcome to another WEBfactory 2010 tutorial. In this video we're gonna talk about the Alarm Viewer Control at design time in Smart Editor. So let's get started. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look into the toolbox for the alarming folder, and inside the alarming folder I'm gonna select the Alarm Viewer and drag it onto the page. So I'm gonna size the control the way I want, and we're gonna take a look in the property inspector to see what Alarm Viewer can offer us at design time. Let's click on the columns button under the configuration category and let's see what we have here. As you can see in the edit items window, we have all the columns available in the control. We can add a new column and we can name it and make it to be auto size, visible. We can change the type of the column, and we have here a lot of types. Basically every property of an alarm is listed here under the type of columns. So we can create a new column based on the HTTP link, for example, and if an alarm is defined with an HTTP link in WEBfactory Studio, the link will be displayed in our column. So moving from the column, we have two checkboxes in the configuration category of properties, and we have enable navigation, which actually does exactly what it says, enables the navigation inside our control, and enable pop-up. When enabled pop-up is on, every window that will be open and runtime will be displayed as a pop-up window. Now, one of the most important features of Alarm Viewer at design time is the offline checkbox. If we check this box, when we run the control, and I'm gonna show it right now, our control will display all the alarms that are logged in our system. So we have an offline alarm viewer. We can see the alarms from a historical point of view, and I'm gonna drag this over here and I'm gonna show you that we don't have any live updates for our alarms, only the logs. So I'm gonna switch to English, and you can see here we have all the alarms in our view, all the alarms that had happened. You can see the alarms were gone way before we have started this control. This is the offline option of the Alarm Viewer in WEBfactory Smart Editor. Now the next option, the refresh interval, allows the user to set a custom time for refreshing the alarms, and this value here, 5 as we have it, is in seconds. So basically our alarms will be refreshed each 5 seconds at runtime. The WEBfactory Alarm Viewer has a complex filtering system, and these filtering settings begin at design time. So the first setting we can see in the filter settings category is the alarm visibility. And the alarm visibility allows us to filter the displayed alarm events. So we can choose to display the active or not acknowledged, the not acknowledged, the active, the gone, and all alarms. We can also filter groups by user, and this important option allows us to filter the available alarm groups at runtime depending on the logged in user. So if a logged in user has no rights to access a certain alarm group, it will be not available. The groups filter option allows us to filter the displayed alarm events by selecting the desired alarm group. So the alarms that belong to other alarm groups will not be displayed at runtime, and in the select alarm group window we can select specific alarm groups, and the selected ones will be displayed and the deselected ones will not be displayed, of course. You can see here we can use the wildcards to specify to select all. Now the maximum count option allows us to specify the number of alarms that can be displayed at runtime. The maximum priority option allows us to specify the maximum priority that the listed alarms can have. And the minimum priority works the same way, allows us to specify the minimum priority that the listed alarms can have. The server sort order option allows us to set up the order that the alarms are pulled on the server, so we can select either date descending or priority descending. The next show options, the options that begin with the word show, are affecting our runtime filtering options, and we can choose what to display in the runtime filtering options. And I'm gonna bring over here my alarm viewer control, and I'm gonna right click and select filter at runtime, and as you can see, this filter window appears. Now if we check or uncheck any of these properties at design time, it will affect directly these filter windows at runtime. So we can toggle the alarm visibility in runtime filter, we can toggle the groups in runtime filter, we can toggle the maximum count, we can toggle the priority, we can toggle the server sort order, which actually is disabled, you cannot see it in runtime filter. We have the text filter in this runtime filter toggled on, and we have off the types in runtime filter. Now these toggles allow us to configure our filtering options at runtime, but we can still use them from design time. For example, the text filter option, of course it is available in the filtering system at runtime. Right over here we can select the column and filter on this selected column with this string over here, but this option can be used from design time, can be implemented by default from design time. So we can apply a text filter and we can select the column to apply that text filter, and when we run this project, this filtering will already be applied. Now the last options over here is the types filter. Now this allows us to filter the displayed alarm events by selecting the desired alarm types, and if you remember the groups filter, now this option is very similar. If we click this browse button, we can select what alarm types will be available at runtime, and again the wildcard means all alarm types in this case are selected. Now we have a lot of more settings in the appearance category of the property inspector, but these settings are concerning the appearance of the control at runtime. And as you can see, we have the classic opacity and tooltip, we have the color configuration, but we have other options that would be interesting to talk about right now. So let's talk about the alarm count display mode. And as you can see here, we have a drop-down box that allows us to select filter and project, filter or project. Now this alarm count display mode allows the user to choose how to display the alarm count, and as you can see, the options here, for example the filter and project option, allows us to set the count display mode to count the filtered alarms and all the project alarms. If we select filter, only the filtered alarms will be counted, and if we select project, only the alarms in the project will be counted. Now moving on, we have priority color definitions and row color definitions, and basically this Windows allows us to set up priority colors for the alarm viewer, and as you can see here, we have a very complex setup. We can choose the colors for the acknowledged alarm color, acknowledged and gone alarm color, active or inactive alarm color, and of course we can set the priority of the alarm. Now the row color definition basically allows to do a very similar thing, but allows us to configure more settings for each alarm. In this row color definition, we can set up a custom color scheme for a row, so based on specific alarm properties, and we can set the alarm group, the alarm type, the horn path, the loop, the priority, and of course for this configuration we can set up the appearance. The next options we have in the appearance category are Show Active Alarm Count, which displays the active alarm count in the status bar at runtime. And I'm gonna run the project again to show you the status bar. Meanwhile, we're gonna go through the other options, and I'm gonna talk about the Show Alarm Groups filter tree, which displays the alarm group filter tree in the left side of the control. You can see the alarm count in the status bar, and you can see the group filter tree over here. The alarm types filter tree is disabled and the show date in milliseconds is disabled, but we can enable this too, just to see how they look at runtime. And I'm gonna run the project again and get back after it's loaded. Now you can see we have on the left side the group filter tree, and on the right side the alarm types filter tree. If we look further in the appearance category, we can see we have the show multi-line text values, and this enables us to get on multi-line if the values of the text is too long. We can also enable the show scroll bars, and as you can see here we have scroll bars enabled. Show status bar, and we can see the status bar displaying the total alarms, the active and the unacknowledged alarms, and the filtering settings that are applied at runtime. We can also toggle the show total alarm count and the show unacknowledged alarm count. Besides the appearance options of the Alarm Viewer Control, we still have two options in the alarm configuration category, and these are the horn path and the loop. So the horn path allows the user to select a sound file, an MP3 or a WAV file, to be used as an alarm event sound. So basically when an alarm is raised, that sound will be played. Now the loop option, if checked, the horn sound over here will be looped until the alarm state is changed, so until the alarm becomes inactive or it is acknowledged. So this is everything about the alarm viewer at design time in Smart Editor. I'm gonna see you next time when I'm gonna show you more cool features of WEBfactory 2010.